In this video, we will do the lab for the lists. As we learned earlier, the lists is actually a collection of some data, some objects, data objects. It can be the same data type, or it can have different data types. Arrays, they are different. Arrays, they can only have the same data types. So lists, it's very useful and widely often used. And more importantly, list is you can actually change the values. And so in this lab, we're going to show several things. So first is how to create a list. To create a list, you will first just make a brackets, make this kind of brackets, and you can put the elements inside, and then assign the whole list objects to a variable. That's it. And then assign a list to a variable is relatively easy. Keep in mind, lists, you can put different data types, like you can put integer, floating number, or a string in a list, because they are all treated as an object. So just like this, in this example, we put a string, an integer, and this is a floating number. So we put them in a list. We can access them. So let's execute this. So my lists, if you click it wrong, it's not printing out anything, but now my lists actually has the object. Now we are actually assigned the same variable with another lists. So here is the new lists. If I just check what the list is gonna be, it's gonna be exactly the same thing as this, as a string 2300.232 and O. And if I ask you what's the length of the string, that will be 1, 2, 3, 4. That should give us the elements of 4. So we have 4 elements. Next topic is about index and slicing. Since list is a sequence as well, so you can always do indexing and slicing. So we assign a new list object to my lists, and then you can directly refer the index. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So the first elements, it's gonna be the very first one. So this is the we create a list, and then we check the very first one. That's gonna be 1. If you change this to 1, then that's gonna give you this 2 and a 3 and so on, right? And you can actually grab the index from 1 to the end, from very beginning to very end. That will give you from 1 to very end, because we're starting from 0. So that will be 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the list. You can also grab everything, every item, 0, 1, 2, and you stop at here, because this one, the next one is 3, and you were supposed to stop at 3, not including 3. So that will be, this is the results. We also can use the plus sign. The plus sign is actually called concatenate. We can use the plus sign to concatenate lists. For example, I have one list, I have another list. I can actually add a new item to my lists. So here's what we're gonna do. So this is the list, and then now my lists is still the same. It is still the same. However, the whole thing, you see this concatenating has the new item, but my list does not change. If you want to have the new list has the new elements, you can do a reassign. You can reassign the variable my lists to the concatenation, and then this will give you a new list with the new elements. So new add it, and you can also multiply the lists. This is one, when you multiply 2, that means you're duplicate the lists. And again, this does not change the list itself. It's just to make a copy and print it out. So you will see the original list is still the same, does not change. The basic list methods will be some functions like add list, append lists, and pop lists, and so on. So suppose we have a list, add 1, 2, 3, and then we can append some elements. So when I append me, and then the list will be 1, 2, 3, append me. When we have the pop, that means we're going to pop up number 0. So this will actually return the elements number 1 and then remove it from the list. You will see it's actually return 1. However, list 1 will starting 2, 3, append me. That's what we have. And then for append item, we can actually assign the popped elements. Remember the default pop index is -1, so that means we are actually popping items from the very last, because pop is somehow, it's like a stack. So first in, last out, last in, first out. So that's like a stack. So the list 1 actually is changing because that's actually deleting from the list 1. And so just in case if we are indexing, we're indexing some big values that does not exist in the lists, it's going to give us an error. It says it's out of the range. Suppose we have another list called a low list, and it's AEXBC, and the first we printed out what's the low list, and then we can actually do reverse. We can do reversely, and you will see the low list is permanently changed. And we can do sorting. We can do the sorting. However, this will also change permanently about the lists. Another type of concept is called the nesting lists. So that means we're going to put lists inside another lists. So matrix actually has 1, 2, 3, 3 lists objects. So list 1, list 2, list 3. This will create a two-dimensional matrix. So this is a matrix 0, 1, 2. So that will be this one, and then so it's like the rows. The rows are the list 1, 2, 3. The columns are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9. So we can show this matrix first. So you're going to see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we can actually grab the lists. So this is will be matrix 0, matrix 1, matrix 2. And if we're doing matrix 0, 0, that will be inside this matrix, and then we take the first column. So that will be the value. So this is matrix 0 shows 1, 2, 3, and the matrix 0, 0 is actually show us number 1. You can change this to others. Let's say matrix 1 or 2. It's going to show you different values. Then finally, we're going to show you some more complex compressions. So for Python, actually has an advanced feature called the list comprehension. It allows for quick construction of lists. We actually understand loops, right, already. Now there's one way you can do it's like a 4-row in matrix. So in the matrix we're going to access every single row, and then when we are accessing the row and we take the very first elements of that row, so that will be the first column of elements. So if we run this, you're gonna see the first column is actually printed. So if that will be 1, 4, 7. So those are the columns. Same thing if you wanted the second column, you just change this from 0 to 1, and that will give you the second column. If you want to be third column, this will be number 2. That will give you the third column. So this is a combination of the for loop with a list. So that's actually what we have for the lab part in the lists.